Sky.
Welcome to the 2300 Pick 6 Football Cycling Podcast for news, scores, bets, fantasy, and chat. It will hit you like a QB getting sacked.
Welcome to the 2300 Pick 6 Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Walker, about to do Season 3 NFL Schedule Analysis Part 1. The season is back in session, so we're going to start now with the first out of 4 teams. For those new to this channel right now, I'm going to explain that. I normally do this with an Uno deck right here in my hand, and it'll tell you right now how we'll do. So, like for example, the first card is the Dallas Cowboys. We're doing the Dallas Cowboys schedule. If it's a skip card, it's this team's getting skipped, and we'll reveal it in the end. I won't know what it is. It's going to be a mystery. Third one is the wild card, which is my choice. I will decide how I will do that. Draw 4 means it's 4 teams. I don't know which 4 it's going to be. AFC, it's an AFC team. The NFL, it's my choice. And the NFC, it's an NFC team. So right now, I'm going to shuffle the deck, and then we'll see which team we're going to do right now. Bear with me, I'm not the best shuffler too in the world too, so it's going to be a little bit of a shitty shuffle, or it could be a good one or a bad one. But we'll wait and find out. Okay, so the first team on our list will be, of course, it's my team, the Dallas Cowboys. And no, this deck was not rigged, okay? There's not like with the NBA draft with Patrick Ewing, where the legend rumor was that they froze the envelopes so the New York Knicks could get Patrick Ewing. No. Like I said, I'm not the best shuffler in the world, but shockingly, it is my team that goes first. So we're going to pick them up right now. So we're going to do their schedule, and I am going to be very unbiased. I'm going to be very unbiased here. So this is my personal opinion of how I think this will be. If anybody thinks, oh, I'm just being biased and being a homer, post in the comments if you think that. If not, otherwise, if you don't want to watch, get the hell out if you think if I'm being biased. But we'll start that now with the Dallas Cowboys acquisitions and departures. Did not have a good season. There were a lot of injuries. Dak Prescott got injured. Running back-wise was not the best. They did make a pickup with George Pickens. They did do in the draft. They got other running backs. They did pick up a couple free agents. But we're going to wait and see how this goes. So I'm going to pick up and do their schedule right now. So we're going to start with the first game for the Dallas Cowboys is the regular season, which they play their first game is against the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. As much as I want that revenge, and look, this is a personal story that I'm going to get into with this. I've always wanted the Philadelphia Eagles week 1 due to the fact that when I turned 13, the Eagles beat my team on my birthday, and I have never let that go. But this is not me being personal. So the personal side of me, and for 13-year-old me, yeah, I want that for that revenge. But in this instance, for the sake of this podcast and for the people that I'm trying to put money in their pocket, I think the Dallas Cowboys will go 0-1. They're going to lose to Philadelphia. They will start the season off 0-1, which this game could be very, very close. It could be decided by a last-minute field goal. It could be decided in an overtime. It could be decided by due to, for those out there, Cowboys, if Dak fucks it up, which we know Dak probably will fuck it up somehow in that instance. But in this one, I have the Eagles winning this one. The Dallas Cowboys go 0-1. Next game they play against is the New York Giants. They bounce back. We've seen how the Cowboys have handled the Giants, and Dak owns them pretty good at home in their home opener. The Cowboys get that one. They go 1-1, beating the New York Giants. Next they go to Chicago. They don't have to worry about this being in the cold. It's very early. So in this one, they win that one. I could see this one being a 2-score game. They win this one either due to CeeDee Lamb or George Pickens. So they get that one. They're 2-1. Sunday Night Football, they play against the Green Bay Packers. This is a toss-up here, but I know it's just early on. We're in the month of May right now. As of this moment, I'm going to toss this one up right now. I'm going to go with either... For now, I'm going to say the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to say I think the Cowboys might lose that one on Sunday night because I know how Dallas is against good teams. So I'll wait till I break down the Packers' record. We're going to see how their schedule goes. But I don't think they're going to win against the Packers, so they're going to be 2-2. Next, they play the Jets. This game I'm deciding I may or may not go to due to the fact that I'm going to be in MetLife in August for SummerSlam, and I might just take a break and say, hey, you know what? I've already been to New York enough. I really don't feel like driving all the way down to MetLife, and the fact that I have to go to work the next day because I work at a bank. So I'm going to say I may or may not go to that game, pending how my money is. So I'm going to say no, and I'm going to say Dallas takes that one. They go 3-2. So right now they are 3-2 at this point. Against Carolina, they have handled the Panthers with ease. They win that one. They're going to be 4-2. That's a win right there you have. Against the Commanders, they're going to split with the Commanders, but since this one is in Dallas, I will say Dallas takes this one at home. They are then 5-2. Against Denver, that is a loss because they do not do good against the Denver Broncos. The Broncos have owned us, and Dak has had shitty games against the Broncos, and I see another shitty game here against the Broncos against them, so they're going to take that loss in South Park. Against the Arizona Cardinals, they bounce back. They get that win on Monday Night Football. Against the Raiders, they're on their bye week. They have another Monday Night Football in Vegas. They get the win there. Against the Eagles, this one they do get back. They take the win there, and they win this one very, very close in that one. I think they will split with Philadelphia. Against the Chiefs on Thanksgiving, they're going to lose to Mahomes, and I pray to God there is not a fucking Taylor Swift concert. Because if there is, I'm not going to be able to go to this one due to the fact that I have to work the next day, but I am not going to watch a fucking Taylor Swift concert. And for all the Swifties that don't like what I got to say, fuck y'all. And I apologize for my remark later on, but no, I'm not doing that. Cowboys-Lions, I'm going to go to the Lions in this one. Dallas is going to be on a 2-game losing streak at this point. The Lions are going to be very, very good. In Detroit, it's not easy to win, and I see Dallas losing that one. Against Minnesota, they bounce back. They get off of that 2-game losing streak. They get the win here at home against Minnesota. With J.J. McCarthy, I don't know where Minnesota will be, but I think Dallas gets the win here. Against the Chargers, Dallas will get the win here because I don't think the Chargers are going to be all that good. Herbert would probably have his struggles. I don't know how he'll do, so we'll go there. Cowboys Commander Christmas Day. Commanders get the win back. We lose that one on Christmas. And then Cowboys Giants. I'll take the Cowboys on this one. So to break down the Cowboys record, they will be 0-1 against Philadelphia, 1-1 against the Giants, 2-1 against the Bears, 2-2 against the Packers, 3-2 against the Jets, 4-2 against Carolina, 5-2 against Washington, 5-3 against the Broncos, 6-3 against Arizona, 7-3 against the Raiders, 8-3 against Philadelphia, 8-4 with a loss to the Chiefs, 8-5 with a loss to the Lions, 9-5 with a win against the Vikings, 10-5 with a win against the Chargers, 10-6 against they'll lose to the Commanders, and then 11-6 that they will go. So they probably will get into a wild card or divisional, and then the same old story as usual. Next team on the list is it's a reverse, so we're going to stay in the NFC East. So give me a sec here. Okay, so the next one on the list we're going to do is the New York Football Giants. With them, still have Gable as their coach. Daniel Jones has left. He's now in Indianapolis right now in a quarterback competition with Anthony Richardson. They did pick up Russell Wilson in the offseason. They did draft Jackson Dart. So I don't know when Jackson Dart will get the start. If it is very, very bad for the New York Giants and they know they can't get the division, they can't make playoffs, there's going to be the point where they put in Jackson Dart. So right now, we're going to put up the Giants schedule right now. First game of the season they play against is the Washington Commanders. I'm going to go Washington in this one. They're going to go 0-1. I can see Jaden handling them with ease, and he had a very good season. They're going to be 0-1. The next game they play against is the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to be 0-2. The Cowboys have owned the Giants even with Russ, but this is not the same Russ of Seattle. If this was Russ of Seattle had just got there, I would have took the Giants in this instance because he used to handle us. But right now you have a Russell Wilson that is right now in the decline, getting ready to think about retirement right now. and you don't even know if he's even going to be there with the Giants because there could be the possibility they trade him off, they could release him. We don't know what could occur, but I know eventually Jackson Dart is going to start. They're going to go 0-2. The next one they play against is the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. I don't know what the schedule makers were thinking in doing that, but really, do we really need to see a bloodbath on Sunday Night Football to see the Giants get their ass kicked by the Chiefs, which we know is going to happen? So in that one, 0-3. The next one they have is the LA Chargers. I'm going to say the Chargers in this one. The Chargers get the win here because you have Coach Harbaugh, even though I think Herbert is not going to have the best season, but I think Herbert can handle the Giants. So that is, they're going to be 0-4. Next you have the Saints. This is a little bit of a tough one here due to the Saints no longer have Derek Carr due to Derek Carr retiring. And this team is now in a rebuild. You don't know who their quarterback is going to be. Is it going to be Tyler Ruff? Is it going to be Spencer Rattler? But in this instance right here, I will say the Giants get the win here, probably in a low-scoring game maybe. They get the win. They get their first win against the Eagles on Thursday Night Football in Prime. Not an Eagles fan, but I can face the fact of what's going to happen here. The Giants have literally been the Eagles' bitches, and they have been the bitch of the whole NFC East between us, the Cowboys, the Eagles, and eventually now pretty soon it's going to be the Commanders too. So I see the Giants getting their ass kicked by the Eagles. That is a loss. Giants-Broncos, I'm going to go with the Broncos on this one. I can see Bo Nix having a good game here. Them beating them, and in Denver, not easy to win. Giants-Eagles, again, get your broom ready here. The Eagles will win that when Saquon runs all over them. 49ers-Giants, I'm going to go with the 49ers in this one. Even though that Debo is in Washington, the 49ers will handle with the Giants with ease, with George Kittle having a good game. Giants-Bears in Chicago. I'm going to go with the Bears on this one. The Bears get the win with Caleb Williams in Chicago. If this game was in New York, I probably would have took the Giants in this one. Packers-Giants. I'm going to go with the Packers in this one. Jordan Love should handle them with ease. Giants-Lions. I really shouldn't even get into this right now. Lions are going to spank them. Browns should have a good game. Sonic and Knuckles will have a good game, which is Montgomery and Gibbs. And I can see Jameson Williams having a good game, and Laporta. Giants-Patriots on a Monday night. Ugh. Why must we be tortured, really? And no offense, I don't know what the Patriots record's going to be. I know they're in a rebuild too. But this is not... If this was Eli and Tom Brady, this would have been good on paper. But this is not. This is either going to be either Russell Wilson against Drake May or Jackson Dart against Drake May. And again, I don't know what the Patriots are going to be, but in New England, I'm going to take the Patriots on this one. I pray to God that game does get flexed, because if it is, this is probably, if they both are bad at this point, this is probably one where I am not going to touch. But it's like, why must we be tortured? Wolf, no offense against your team, you are a Patriots fan, but I don't know how the Patriots are going to be. But that's really one game that really should not be on primetime. Commanders-Giants, Washington gets the sweep here. They get the win here. Vikings-Giants, Minnesota gets the win here. I can see Jordan Addison and Aaron Jones running over them. And I can see Justin Jefferson having a good game, regardless if that is J.J. McCarthy or not. Giants-Raiders, I'm going to go with the Raiders. I can see Geno having a good game there. And Cowboys-Giants, Cowboys get the win if they're fighting for a playoff spot or if they're playing for prime for a draft seeding. So, breakdown out of the Giants' schedule. 0-1 against the Commanders. 0-2 against the Cowboys. 0-3 against the Chiefs. 0-4 against the Chargers. 1-4 against the Saints. 1-5 against the Giants. 1-6 against the Broncos. 1-7 against the Eagles. 1-8 against the 49ers. 1-9 against the Bears. 1-10 against the Packers. 1-11 against the Lions. 1-12 against the Patriots. 1-13 against the Commanders. 1-14 against the Vikings. 1-15 against the Raiders. So I'm going to say they go 1-16. So it is a rebuild, and I don't know when Jackson Dart gets in. But like I said, this is May, and I don't know what's going to happen down the road. But that's just my personal opinion and honest on that. Next one on the list is... Dang, again, we're going to still stay in the NFC East. All right. Next one will be the Super Bowl champs, the Philadelphia Eagles. So for them, made it to the Super Bowl, won it all. This is actually one of my Super Bowl picks. I have a couple others too, but we'll wait down the road when we get in the end. Everybody is still there. They did make a couple moves on the defense. They did do good moves in drafting. But to them, I think that this will be good for them. So we're going to go to the Eagles schedule right now, and I'm going to pull it up. Yes, even though I'm a Cowboys fan, I will be biased in all this. I am biased with everyone. The Giants, no, that's not due to my own personal hatred. That is me being biased and my unbiasedness, and that's what I'm looking. I'm being unbiased out this whole thing. And if anybody think I'm being biased, go suck my dick if you don't like it. Okay, Cowboys, Eagles. Like I said before in the Cowboys one, they're going to beat us, either close, they're going to go 1-0. Against the Chiefs, I'm going to surprise everybody when I say this, even though the game is in KC. I see Philadelphia winning this one close because I don't think that the Chiefs are going to have a good season, but I don't see the Chiefs making it to the Super Bowl yet again. I think this is the end and this is the last of it. Once we get to the Chiefs schedule, I'll explain that more in detail. But I have the Eagles winning this one. They go 2-0. Rams, Eagles. That game at 1 o'clock, a little disappointing. I know it's early on. I would have made that a 4 o'clock or a Sunday night or a Monday nighter. How that would have been. I would have made that America's Game of the Week. So I take the Eagles win this one. They win this one close. It's at home. The Eagles did very good at home, so they're going to take the win there. They're going to go 3-0. Eagles, Buccaneers in Tampa. This one I'm going to call an upset. I'm going to call Tampa on this one because Philadelphia has had a lot of problems playing against the Bucs, and the Bucs have owned them. And Baker did a good job last year, and I say in this one, this game right here is a humbling, having to deal with Shad White, having to deal with Chris Godwin, having to deal with Mike Evans. I can see this one being an overtime game, but I see Tampa winning this one. But if it's like weather-wise, it could be a low-scoring weather-wise because Florida, it does rain down there, and it could get really bad. So I'm going to say the Eagles take a loss here. They're going to be 3-1 at this point. Against the Broncos, they bounce back. They're going to be 4-1. Against the Giants, 5-1. That's a bloodbath right there. Against Minnesota, Eagles have their problems playing in Minnesota. In times it is not easy to win down there. So I'm going to say 5-2. That one will be a loss. It will be a close one. And I think it's one of those screwy games, one of those trap games sometimes the Eagles get into. You get into. If this game was in Philadelphia, I would have took the Eagles in this one. But in Minnesota, I'm going to go with Minnesota in this one. They're going to be 5-2. Next one after the Vikings is the Giants. They bounce back. They're going to be 6-2. Against the Packers in Lambeau. Whoa. I'm going to say a loss here. It's not easy to play down in Lambeau. And at that point, I think the Eagles might lose that one. They're going to lose close. So I'm going to say in Lambeau, they take a loss there. Against Detroit on Sunday Night Football, that is a win because, again, at home, Philly is good at home. And with that one, that could be a close one. And that one could be your potential NFC Championship matchup or a divisional matchup between these two. So I'm going to say the Eagles take that one. Eagles-Cowboys, that's a loss. The Cowboys get the win here. They bounce back. They get that win. This would be a humble loss for the Philadelphia Eagles. They got humbled. Bears-Eagles, the Eagles take the win there on Black Friday. They beat them. Eagles-Chargers, Eagles with that one. The Eagles will handle LA. Raiders-Eagles, without question, the Eagles will kill the Raiders. Eagles-Commanders in Washington. So that one, I'm going to say the Eagles will lose that one in Washington. This will be a split here. They're going to take a loss here. Eagles-Bills in Buffalo. Fortunately, I think that one's going to be a loss right there. Buffalo is good at home. And with this one, I could see Buffalo getting the win with a field goal. But if this game happens to go to an OT, we know how Josh Allen is in overtime. The Eagles will get the win here. Commanders, Eagles. This game here could be the decider for the NFC East between these two. So I'm going to take the Eagles in this one at home, getting the win, with this game being the potential of a Sunday night game, either America's Game of the Week at 4 or the Sunday nighter, which between these two, which would be who gets the East, who gets either a 2 or a 3 seed between these two, and the loser getting a wild card spot. But a breakdown out of the Eagles' record is they will be 1-0 against Dallas, 2-0 against Kansas City, 3-0 against the Rams, 3-1 against Tampa Bay, 4-1 against the Broncos, 5-1 against the Giants, 5-2 against Minnesota, 6-2 against the Giants, 6-3 against the Packers, 7-3 against the Lions, 7-4 against the Cowboys, 8-4 against the Bears, 9-4 against the Chargers, 10-4 against the Raiders, 10-5 against the Commanders, 10-6 against the Bills, and then 11-6. So I have them going 11-6. They will still get in the playoffs either as a 2 or a 3. I don't know about that one. It's a little bit tough. And the final one. We might as well just do the whole NFC East because it's still another reverse card. Like I said, I am not the best shuffler in the world. And who knew that this was going to stay in the whole NFC East? So the Commanders are the last one. For the Commanders, they had a surprisingly good season. I did not expect them to go to an NFC Championship. I thought it was going to be in a full rebuild. They have a good coach in Dan Quinn. They did make a lot of moves getting Deebo Samuel, but I don't think it's going to thread the needle as much. But with this team I've seen this script with Washington before when they made the playoffs. Now, I don't know how far they are going to go this year, and I'm not being a hater. What I don't want to have to say is, same old fucking Washington, you fucked up as usual. But what this is, it's a different script, a different set of actors, and a different coaching staff. Do I think that they can make it again? In my opinion, I think they will. But time will tell what happened when we watch this down the road. But let's start off with Washington's schedule. First game of the season they play against is the New York Giants. They're going to be 1-0. Then they play against the Packers in Green Bay. This game is going to be surprisingly good for a Week 2 matchup. You could see these two again meet in a wild card down the road. But in this instance, I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau. I don't think they get the win here. They're going to be 1-1. Against the Raiders, they bounce back. They're going to beat them with that defense. And I can see Jaden, Deebo, and those running backs having a good game. So I'm going to go with the Commanders in that one. Commanders, Falcons, again, last year, this was a scary good, surprisingly, under the Raiders sleeper good game on Sunday Night Football. Went to an overtime in Washington. But in this instance, this game is in Atlanta. I don't know how Penix is going to be, but for this one, I'm going to say Washington gets the win here. They are 3-1 at this point. They win very, very close, and I can see this being decided by another overtime due to the fact that Raheem Morris is not the best of all coach, and I can see the Atlanta Falcons messing this up. Commanders, Chargers in LA. I'm going to go Washington in this one. I think Washington wins this one surprisingly by a field goal. So I'm going to take Washington in that one. Bears, Commanders, I'm going to go the Commanders in this one. This game was Chicago. I would have took Chicago. We all saw how it was in the last time they came. It was very low scoring, but a very good low scoring game, in which was the Hail Mary that decided it. I would be shocked if another Hail Mary does it again. So we'll wait and see with this one, but I'm going to go with the Commanders in this one. Commanders, Cowboys, I go Dallas in this one. This is they get humbled by the Cowboys, and I did say that they would split with each other, so the Cowboys take that one. Commanders, Chiefs, unfortunately that is going to be a loss. Nothing against Jaden Daniels, but they're not just yet at that level just yet to be taking on a Super Bowl contender, so I will take the Chiefs in this one. Seahawks, Commanders on a Sunday night. I'm going to go with the Commanders in this one. If this game was in Seattle, I would have took Seattle. Sam Darnold or not, it's not easy to win down there, so I will take the Commanders on this one. Lions, Commanders. I'm going to go Detroit in this one, and this one could be a potential rematch in a playoffs. But this time you have Detroit at full strength. Yeah, I know Detroit lost because they had all those injuries, but with this one, I say Detroit wins. They win at full strength in this one, very, very close. I love this game right here, but I wish it wasn't in Spain. I have nothing against international countries. I just don't like games being in international games. My view towards it is I don't like getting up that early because you have to get in a hurry. You got to get everything right. For me, I make a big breakfast on Sunday. I usually make an omelet for myself. A Swiss cheese omelet with mushrooms, with ham, bacon, sauce. Well, technically that is not healthy. I'm making myself a meat lover's omelet with some bacon, with some Scrabble and all that, and usually at that time is what I do. So in that one, I don't like international games. I wish this game would have been either a 1 o'clock game, either a 4 o'clock game, or maybe even a Sunday nighter. But for this game right here, I will go Washington in this one right here. I just don't... One, I don't know if Tua is going to be there. Barring he does not get injured, and I'm not taking a shot at him, but he does not stay healthy. And after last year with that concussion, I know, and this is just a health concern with Tua, if he suffers another concussion or worse, just retire, man. I don't want to see you become an Antonio Brown or a statistic. So that is my thing on that one. I'm going to go Washington in that one. They take the win there. Broncos, Commanders on a Sunday night. This could be an under the radar sleeper good game. I'm going to take the Commanders in this one. They get the win here close. If this game was in Denver, I would have took Denver. Commanders, Vikings. This one I'm going to go Minnesota. I think they're going to get humbled by the Vikings because the Vikings have done good at home. Regardless of the quarterback, if it's J.J. McCarthy coming from an ACL injury or if it's someone they decide maybe to get Aaron Rodgers or someone, but I'm going to take the Vikings in this one. Commanders, Giants. Commanders get the sweep here. They get the win there. Eagles, Commanders. The Commanders get the win here. I said that they would split with Philadelphia. That is a win. Cowboys, Commanders. They get that win back. They get the win on Christmas Day. And then Commanders, Eagles. The Eagles get that win there, which I said that this game right here between the Commanders and the Eagles could be the decider for the NFC East, either in a Sunday night in a win-and-in situation, meaning one's going to get the division or a 2 or a 3 seed, and the other's going to be a wild card as a 5 or a 6. But a breakdown out of the Commanders' schedule. They will be 1-0 against the Giants, 1-1 against the Packers, 2-1 against the Raiders, 3-1 against the Falcons, 4-1 against the Chargers, 5-1 against the Bears, 5-2 against Dallas, 5-3 against the Chiefs, 6-3 against the Seahawks, 6-4 against the Lions, 7-4 against the Dolphins, 8-4 against the Broncos, 8-5 against the Vikings, 9-5 against the Commanders, 10-5 against the Eagles, 11-5 against the Cowboys, and then 11-6. So I have them going 11-6. So right now I said for the NFC East, I think all three would go 11-6. But right now we don't know that, and I said that could be the potential NFC East battle. But out of all this is next week. I don't know if I am going to do a show because it's Memorial Day weekend, and there's a lot that I do. And I could do it Saturday if I have the time, if I'm not tired, depending where I'm at. During Saturday night's main event, yes, I do watch wrestling, and the card is so predictable. There's the possibility I could do it during that. I probably will have Collision on my phone. I'll probably watch it later because I have it DVR'd. Later on, then Sunday, I could try to get it in maybe next week before Double or Nothing, or maybe Memorial Day too. Maybe, but depending if I go out and see the fireworks. But all in all, before I bid adieu, it's just been enough time for talk. It's time for kickoff. I'm Dave Walker, and we'll see you on the field. Goodbye, everybody. Oh, also, there is a possibility I might go to FanFest at Javitas to see if there's anybody I want to meet. But all in all, good night, everybody. Later.